market continues to march higher, doesn't it? So is Wall Street missing something, or is it on something? Let's ask our Fox Biz All-Stars, who are all on something. I'm kidding. Jonathan Hoenig, Maegan Carberry, Todd Schoenberger, and Howard Rosenkranz. Maegan, what do you make of that the market does have a way of just continue to move forward throughout all of this? Liking it, dismissing it, both? What?
I think that the market is excited that there's finally going to be some action here. And I'm not quite sure who's happy with that action, according to all of the things that are happening in the media today. You've got liberals slamming the compromise. You've got support coming out from moderates, Mike Bloomberg, the governor. We've also got Bill Frist on board. So
Bob Dole. Don't forget Bob Dole.
Oh, yeah,
Bob. On this show. Bob Dole didn't like it, and then he liked it. Howard, what sometimes I mentioned before, it's that kabuki theater, because I think all of these are well rehearsed. The liberals say they hate it. The conservatives say they hate it. Max Baucus knows he's got probably a doable deal because both of them hate it. There'll be elaborate subterfuge and drama around this, but in the end, they're going to get something.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think this is going to actually go down without the public option, and I'm shocked that they
really. Okay.
I don't think it goes down. I mean, there are too many people who are wedded to it from the left side out of the gate, and clearly, although you are getting some semblance of small bipartisan support at this juncture, I don't really think there's an overwhelming enthusiasm for the bill, and everybody's sort of, as you suggest, throwing out a kabuki, hey, hello, we're okay with this now. But things are going to change down the pike, and you're going to see some pushback, and I'd be surprised if you're really going to get some sort of overwhelming satisfaction in the initial gate until we see whether or not the public
Howard,
option is on the plate.
They will take another inch. They will take another inch. Whether it's public option, whether it's new taxes, whether it's mandates. I mean, the government's current takeover of healthcare, Neil, it's not like it happened overnight. I mean, it goes back literally decades, and it's been incremental over time. So I don't, frankly, the market is surprised that the president believes that healthcare is a right, and he's going to use a lot of political capital trying to expand government's involvement in providing healthcare.
As he should in this instance, Jonathan, because we have a responsibility to take care of American citizens. And if we want to carry on about how we're going to pay for it, maybe we should be paying more attention to his policy in Afghanistan, where we're bleeding billions of dollars and not taking care of our own citizens.
All right, well, don't go on a sidetrack here. Here's what I'm focused on, and maybe, Todd, you can help me. The market has been either climbing a wall of worry or, to quote Maegan, maybe endorsing this and finding it okay. Which is it? What do you think's happening? Because we just continue to inch to a new high every single day of the year, for the year.
And it's been great, Neil. And you know, we're up over 50% from our low on March 9th. But I'm not entirely sure that traders or even retail investors are really concentrating short term right now on this healthcare reform bill. I think the biggest headliner for investors right now are the third quarter earnings. And this week alone, we have some pretty blockbuster names, heavyweights that are coming out.
Well, wait a minute, Todd. You said something. You always say interesting stuff, but then let me ask you this. If Howard's right that we're going to end up getting a public option, something I think I'm safe in saying Wall Street is not anticipating, you think this upward trajectory continues?
No, I don't. And I'll tell you what, Neil, in the long term, with that public option, and I have to agree with Howard, I think we will see some type of variation of a public option to this health care reform bill, no matter what's going to be passed. But bottom line is, you're looking at higher taxes. You're taking away discretionary incomes, discretionary spending from the American consumer. Remember, 70% of the gross domestic product in this country comes from the U.S. consumer. If they're not spending money because they have to go out and pay fees and taxes just for this health care plan that they may or may not want, how are they going to spend money with these companies?
Jonathan?
Yeah, and Neil, you know, the markets, the global markets really are already voting, because you're right, the stock market has rallied, but as high as the stock market's gone, the dollar, truly the value of the currency, of the country's currency, has gone in obviously just the other direction. It's down by about 12% since just February.
By the way,
it's
Jonathan, on that, how long
low.
Can they go in separate directions? People are asking, what's the rule of thumb on that? The dollar going one way, the market's going another. It can't go on forever. Right?
Neil, I think it really depends on the political philosophy in Washington. And I think the greater we look to expand the entitlement state and grow government's involvement in education and health and everything else, who knows how low the dollar could go.
So, Megan, it is the death of mankind as we know it, pretty much, right?
No, in some instances, the entitlement state is appropriate. Like, we all want paved roads, and we have a responsibility to take care of Americans.
You say it's a responsibility like a right, like it's a God-given duty. And if that's so, 29 million people, even at the end of 10 years, aren't going to have it. Doesn't that just burn your hide?
I'm not pleased with the 25 million people who are going to be left out of the caucus bill.
29, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
It's about what we have right now.
I'm not quite sure that we can label it as a big victory tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you could say that. All right. We're going to take a break here. We're going to get these guys back a little later in the show. I just want to move them up front there to get their take on this because it is a fast-moving story.